What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Maybe it's my imagination, but doesn't it always seem like Wednesday and Thursday are kind of like the same day all in a row? Or maybe it's just because I'm too damn busy, I can't figure out which day of the week it is. Hey, everybody. It is February 9th, according to my calendar, and probably one of the most inspirational, intelligent, established individuals is on my show today. I'm so nervous I can't even stand it. We're about to talk to Alexa Bigwarfe in just a second, but I want to remind everybody of 2 really quick things because I don't want to leave her holding too long because she's busy. First of all, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow at noon Central Standard Time, Dr. Jeff Rappaport is going to be visiting our show. What's exciting about him is he's a New Jersey dermatologist, and he has come up with this PHP sort of treatment. And basically, in essence, it's supposed to be helping with, obviously, as men get older. I know it's a female problem also, but as we age, we start to lose hair, obviously. So this is more of a non-surgical, non-invasive, non-surgical procedure to help people to try to maintain their hair. So I'm very excited to talk to them about that, how we can take care of our skin, how things like diet, stress, and other factors play a part in terms of us taking care of ourselves. So don't forget, absolutely do not forget to tune in tomorrow, noon Central Standard Time. Second of all, I do not want to forget to remind everybody of 2 things. First of all, one of my favorite people in the whole world, and he's a local musician, is playing tonight. So get your ass down to Bar 360 inside of Potawatomi Casino tonight because Marcel Goyton is playing. I'm probably going to be there, so there's a little bonus, right? Not, I'll probably still be sitting in my flannel shirt and pajamas because that's how we roll. Second of all, don't want to forget to remind everybody that mid-March is the regular deadline submission for my film festival. Again, the name is Art is Alive Film Festival, being scheduled in New York City, Producers Club, June 23rd to the 25th. So get in there and submit. Screenwriters submit, youth category submit, regular filmmakers submit. Just submit. We want to try to get 90 films within the course of 3 days. Yes, I'm delusional, but we're going to try. So without further ado, and since Alexa's probably tired of listening to me already, let's put her on the line and start talking. Is this Alexa?
Hey, how are you?
Are you nervous? Are you scared?
A little bit.
You should be.
A little bit.
Oh, my God, you ought to be really scared. Wait till I start asking you questions. You are screwed. Okay, so there you go. I had to be nice to your client, but you're not my client, so I'm like, it's on now. It's so on.
Oh, no. Bring it.
The problem with you is there's too much to talk about, literally. I mean, after I research you, I'm like, dude, I don't even know where to go with this. There's just a lot. There's a lot here about you. It's kind of freaking me out. So because you have heard my show, right? I assume that you heard Darren's interview. I'm not sure. Okay. So you know how my format goes. So I kind of bounce around a little bit. So we'll talk about you on the personal side. We'll talk about the professional side. So the first thing that I actually want to talk about is I'd like you to share with the listeners, I know you went on a mom retreat recently. And that's important that people don't always recycle and rejuvenate. So talk a little bit about, to the folks, why it's important to reset your batteries and what you took away from that experience.
So, well, that's an interesting question because I fall into the mom entrepreneur category of someone who I was working, then I decided to stay home with my kids, and then I decided to build a business based on my skills. So it could get really lonely being an entrepreneur stuck in your house and often with little children there, and it's really challenging, especially because spouses don't always understand what you're trying to do and accomplish, and, I mean, you feel like you're doing everything all the time. So to be able to go out to San Diego and to spend a weekend with other women who are doing the same thing as me, who get the struggles, let me tell you, these women were so amazing. I mean, I felt so lifted up the whole weekend, just the constant, like, everyone's complimenting each other and lifting each other up, and just, it was just incredible. And you have to do that sometime. It makes you a better person, makes you a better worker, it makes you a better mother, it makes you better everything.
Amen to that one, definitely, without a doubt. Who doesn't like to get together with a bunch of chicks and, like, talk trash? Because I'm all over that. I'm like, yes, there's a time when we're talking about important things. But then you get to talk about your husband, your boyfriend, other women, all that good jazz. So I totally get that. So I'm so glad that you did that experience. It's absolutely amazing. I want to back up way back before you started doing what you're doing, because I've only known you since September of last year, so I have limited knowledge.
Yes.
But then you start doing journalist cap thing, and I'm like, now I'm finding this stuff out, that's for sure. Like, I'm seeing somebody who's in the Air Force, I'm seeing somebody who's working for Homeland Security, and I'm thinking her ass is going to arrest me when she comes on this show. Hello, she's probably researched me. And I'm scared, folks, just so you know, there's a lot out there. So, okay, so here's little Alexa, and I say little, and I mean that in the most loving way, because go look at her pictures, because she's like this cute little, you just want to squeeze her. She's like small, and she's got this cute little haircut, and she's all pretty. And then they're like, yeah, I'm badass, I work for Homeland Security, so don't mess with me. And by the way, I'm military, so knock it off. So we got to go back, we got to talk about that. You were Homeland Security planner and coordinator, of course, and you were also chief of intelligence. You worked for the Air Force. I mean, there's nothing she hasn't done with the government, so don't mess with her. Okay, that's all we're going to say about that. But that doesn't seem, forgive me, from what I know of you, it didn't seem like that's where it all stemmed from. So talk to me about your integration into that and how intense of a job that is, because I can only imagine what it's like working for Homeland Security. You must not trust anyone, ever.
Well, yeah, that was part of the problem. It was, I mean, every time I went anywhere, the first thing I thought of was how people were trying to kill me, and that kind of weighs on your psyche a little bit. No, but it started out back when I was 21, 22 years old. I graduated from college, and I wanted to do something in some type of public service. I wanted to do something to give back. Sure. I was thinking about the Peace Corps. I was thinking about all kinds of different stuff. And my father, well, actually, I come from a huge military family, and I said I would never go into the military. I would never marry a man in the military, and I did both. So, but
look at that, folks.
Yeah, right. So I decided to go into the Air Force as an intelligence officer, and I didn't really know what that meant. I thought it was, going to be Tom Clancy-esque, and to a degree, there was a little bit of exciting stuff like that. But I wound up in my first duty assignment, well, first of all, I had just joined the Air Force in April of 2001, and then September 11th happened. And I was like, oh, crap, we're going to war. This is not why I came into the military. I came to do good things for the world and bring peace and go on UN missions. And so that was a little freaky. But, no, I wound up going into a C-130 unit, which is a heavy cargo aircraft. They do a lot of the drops of like the 82nd Airborne, all those, Ranger guys, all those kinds of things. So my first 3 years in the Air Force were spent largely in the Middle East supporting these guys over in Iraq, Afghanistan, and all over the place. So that was a lot of fun. Wow. And I served for another 4 years after that, and when we decided to have our first child, the Air Force was actually doing a reduction in force, and I thought that might be a good time to go because the deployment levels were still really high, and I didn't want to leave my 4, 5, 6 month old for 6 months, which was happening to a lot of people. So I made the decision to leave. But I wasn't quite done with that line of work. So when I came home, I was looking around, and the Homeland Security job here in South Carolina just happened to kind of fall upon me. But it was great. I did counterterrorism planning and strategy and basically like emergency preparedness for an attack. So I got to work with all the local law enforcement and police chiefs and firemen and sheriffs and all of our local first responders in putting together the plans for how we would respond to a major level attack. So that was cool. Okay. But like I said, I always was thinking about how people were trying to kill me, and I'd go to a football game and I'd be like, oh my gosh, someone's going to fly a plane into us today or whatever, So.
Oh my God. A little. Do you hear this? Yes, I was working for the military. That was fun. Oh, but wait, I was wondering if we were going to get killed. Oh, my God, that's insane.
All the time.
Talk to me about, there's always this misnomer that goes around it, and that is more so for us civilian individuals, meaning if we've never had any experience or background serving in the military, working for Homeland Security. So, I guess you're the best person to ask this question to, because Homeland Security is there for a reason, obviously, and I'd like to believe they're there to protect a number of individuals. However, yet by the same token, you have a whole bunch of people that are running around, especially nowadays, thinking to ourselves, well, the government is becoming so invasive, especially in the Homeland Security side of things, that Big Brother's watching us 24/7. Is that really kind of how things are, meaning that are we really kind of all eyeballs on us and watch what you're doing all the time sort of society now? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. I'm just kidding. No,
she's on my show 8 minutes, and she's threatening to kill me. Well, did someone hear that? I'm pretty sure 58,000 people did, woman. No, but you know what I'm trying to say. I mean, we live in a society where we're watched and monitored all the time. You know what I mean? You get this idea about Homeland Security, like you're soft. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now that Facebook knows more about you than the U.S. government knows about you, unless you have a reason to be watched by the government. So
MG.
Yeah.
That's scary. Seriously, that's scary. Think about that. Social media knows more about you than the government. And that's kind of creepy, obviously, and it goes without saying. Thank you for your service, by the way, because it is huge to me that individuals take any increment of time and spend servicing their country. So kudos to you as far as that goes. And as I understand it, when I was researching you, I found a book. Now, that book that you wrote, was that for Homeland Security? Because there's one book that says it's not available, and I'm guessing that's a governmental sort of publication you put together. Is that right? Or am I just seeing that?
That was actually my master's thesis. So, I'm sure it can be ordered someplace, but, yeah, it was on local Homeland Security efforts.
Got it. Okay, fine. See? So there you go. So it is out there, folks, ladies and gentlemen, as far as that goes. Now, how did you end up marrying a military man when you were, that would scare me. I don't even know if I could live with somebody like that because I'm just picturing structure and organization and short hair and you know what I'm saying? So talk to us about your husband, the guy next to you that obviously works alongside you in life and love. And tell me what that guy is like.
Well, he is a former Marine, and many stereotypes of former Marines are true. So,
great.
No,
lucky you.
I can blame it on my sister. He was her fiance's best friend in the Marine Corps, so she introduced us. And so we wound up meeting and had a pretty fast and furious romance, and then I moved to Texas, went into the Air Force and moved to Texas, and then September 11th happened, and the first few years were pretty tough. We actually saw each other a total of about 7 months in our first 3 years together because we were both deployed all the time. But
my God.
That was tough. But then he got out,
and
I got to be the career woman for a while, and we've just kind of bounced back and forth.
Oh, my goodness gracious. And it works for you, though. You know what I mean? Because sometimes for some couples that can be immensely difficult. And, as we go through the course of this, you're all going to find out, folks, that she does about 75,000 things. So she's kind of like another version of me. And I don't know how she pulls it off, considering she's tried to have a husband. She's got a gaggle of family members along with children and everything else. So I'm just like, I don't even know how you keep track of the people in your house right now. That's all I'm going to say about that. But we will get to that, obviously. Now, you live in South Carolina, and very recently, what's the line go? You were part of the top 10 blogs of South Carolina moms, so congratulations on that. That's a big deal.
Thank
you know what I mean? I know people don't necessarily pay attention to the blogging community. So let's talk about blogging for a little bit. That's one thing in my writing career that I don't do as much of that I'd like to do more of. So tell folks that are listening, especially ones that are out there that are writing now, want to get into writing, etc., from the blog side of things, talk to us about doing a blog versus doing something like a podcast or some of the other writing you've done. What do you like about the blogging aspect of things?
Well, the cool thing about a blog is that it can be something that's just really personal and for your own space to do and say whatever you want to, or it can be a really good tool for building your platform and supporting your business. So it's kind of fun. When I started blogging, it was actually, I started in 2007 when I was pregnant with my son because I wanted to share that experience, but then I didn't really start blogging until after my 2-day-old daughter passed away, and it was an outlet for me basically to just express the things that I could not say out loud to anyone else, but I needed to say. And so that's the benefit of a blog right there, is that it gives you a platform, it gives you a place to express yourself, it gives you a place to grow a community of people who get you and want what you're putting out there. And it's a great place to refine your craft if you are thinking about trying to be a writer. Practice makes perfect.
Mm-hmm. Of course. No, I agree with you 150%. Now, this is where you toot your own horn and you tell everybody, well, why is your blog one of the top 10? Why do you think? What do you think you were chosen for? Honestly. No kidding. I mean, because honestly, you would know. It's your blog.
I write about social good, using your voice, compassion, and advocacy and awareness. And I try to do so in a way that involves other people and makes it, to try to champion the causes that are important to me. And I think that that resonates with people.
Very much so, I would think. Not to mention the fact, of course, if you read her writing, you'll already see that she is well-written and well-spoken, which is also very important. And she represents herself very well. The way that you carry yourself in various pictures and things, because I haven't had a chance to meet you yet. So it's very clear to me that you have a sense of dignity and pride about yourself and about the work and the words that you put out there, just so you know. I'm watching. That's how I would know. And I don't work for Homeland Security. I'm just a journalist. So bam on that one. Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit. And we're going to talk about some of her weird habits that I'm like, I looked at you in the last couple of days while researching you, and my head's rolling, and I'm thinking, we don't do that. I don't understand that. I don't know what's happening with this. My eyes roll in the back of my head. So first of all, she'll do these postings on her Facebook, right? She'll talk about healthy food, like eating clean, cooking dirty. No clue what the hell cooking dirty means. I don't understand. I mean, who talks like that? She's on this gluten-free kick, and all I'm thinking is give me a donut and Mountain Dew. So let's backtrack a little bit and talk about this healthy, gluten-free diet little kick thing you got going on there. What is that something that you feel is good for the kids, or you started doing that a long time ago, or how did you merge towards the healthier meals?
You would understand the cooking dirty if you saw my kitchen after a day of meal prep, and then it becomes totally clear to you. Well, actually, so with I want to say in about 2008 or 2009, my dad was diagnosed with celiac disease, and that is where your body just absolutely cannot handle gluten, and it can mess you up really, really badly. So
gotcha.
At the time, I started noticing that I was having some weird symptoms along those lines. I was tested, and I have a gluten insensitivity. I don't have celiac. But I was diagnosed with, I do have Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid disease, and lupus, which is another autoimmune disease.
Right.
And I started researching all of those things, and I've come to find that there is a massive connection between not just gluten, but dairy, processed foods, all of the crap that goes into our processed foods, and your gut health. And if your gut is not performing the way it's supposed to, it can screw up your whole body. So I started doing some experimenting, and I cut out gluten first, and that made a huge impact. And now I'm on the kick to get sugar and dairy as much out of my diet as I can, which that's a lot harder for me than cake and bread. So,
Well, I imagine so, of course. And now and this is the part where you're going to say, but of course my lovely children don't have to live like that and eat that kind of food, right? Or maybe they do.
I cook as clean as possible for them when we're eating, but I don't want to give them any weird freak outs about food or then be the child that, their mom never lets them have anything fun. So, they still have chips and ice cream and bread and normal things like that. But those things run in the family, so I am monitoring them very closely to see if they start to have any skin issues or tummy issues or anything like that. So.
Oh, of course. That makes perfect sense. No, that part I get. Because I kept looking at all this food, and I almost got railed in because I'm like, wow, that looks really good. But then she started talking about how healthy it is and gluten it is, and I'm like, yay, no. I mean, you'd have to pay me to eat healthy. I mean, I'm like, you know what? I gave up smoking. I have very few vices now. I'm like, just let me eat my junk food. I'm drinking Mountain Dew right now. I'm eating soup, though. I mean, I think that compensates. And then later I'll have wine, and I'll compensate that with, an appetizer. I had wine, but look, I had this. See, so I'd be terrible. See, I'm like a doctor's nightmare. This is why I'm ill. Everything's falling apart because I apparently don't eat well. This is what else I know about this lovely girl. She dances in her house. That puts her way high in my list because I know if she comes to my house, she will drink wine and dance, which is important. She speaks French, and so do I, even more vitally important because multi-language is always a cool thing, and French is very romantic, so lucky your husband on that one. We also end up calling our children different names, and apparently yours is Jelly Bean. I keep seeing Jelly Bean all the time.
Yes.
Jelly Bean, Jelly Bean, Jelly Bean. What up with the Jelly Bean?
So, well, I guess it's kind of funny. When I first started blogging, I didn't want my children's real name to be on the blog because I started anonymously.
Oh.
So I had nicknamed them Bug, Jellybean, and Tiny. And I still use that hashtag Jellybean because I did a lot of posts following her with that. So now I'm like, if I ever want to go back and walk down memory lane, I can tag Jellybean, or I can look up that and find all of her stuff. But yeah, her name is Ella, and I call her Ellie Jellybean. So.
And another word, by the way, she calls them wildlings. Check that out.
Yes.
Yeah, those are my little wildlings over there in the corner. You know, A, B, and C. Because sometimes I go to the store and I have so many of them with me. I'm like, you know them, him, right there. You know that one. You know, you have enough of them, and you're like, you know, they're there. Those people over there, they're mine. They're my people, but I just don't remember their names. And the other two kids' names are. You have 3 total.
Yes, Braden is my son, and he's almost 10.
Right.
Ella is the middle child. She's 7, and Karis is the baby. She's 5.
I'm glad she said it because I didn't know how to pronounce it because I've seen all of their pictures before. So I was like, let's be cautious when you try saying it. And then get this, you got like 27 sisters. Just kidding. She's got like 6 of them. It's like, look on her page. Sister, sister, sister. I'm like, is she bullshitting? Like, how many people have that many sisters? Seriously? They're like all real?
Well, I have 3 biological sisters, 1 half sister, and then 3 sisters-in-law. So,
that's
there's a lot of...
Because I saw the sister thing, and I'm like, that's a lot of estrogen in one room. I don't know. I would want to kill someone. Well, that's like a story right there. Think about that, because that's like the next thing you could write about is having all of you in a room together. Just imagine that.
Oh, my gosh.
You know what I mean? It's like it's a story in and of itself, but I'm always looking for the next story. But no, I thought it was really cool, because I'm like, oh, my God, how do you squeeze all those people in one room together? And what if they don't get along, and they're all like family, and it's like, well, they dropped there.
We've done it.
I just had to ask. Yeah, I bet you have. I'm sure of that. Now, here's some of the things, and I know I keep focusing on the personal because there's just so many cool things about her that I can relate to completely.
Thank you.
She likes American Horror Story, which I totally do too. She likes Adam Levine. He's hot, and he's coming to my city on February 20th, so bam on that one. I'm trying to get him on the show, but good luck with that. I don't even think he's, like, you know, I don't think he knows me yet. Hi, I'm waving hi to you, Adam Levine, that you'll never see me, but okay. And she likes my 2 JTs, which is James Taylor and Justin Timberlake, because who doesn't like the 2 JTs in this world? They're awesome. Right. But then you lost points. She's like number 1 on my list, and then here's what she does. Hi, my name is Alexa, and I like Walking Dead and Celebrity Apprentice. Who does that? Okay, in a perfect world, I don't even get the Walking Dead scares me. I don't ever watch it. Somebody's like, can you interview somebody from there? I'm like, yay, and I turn it on, grossness and blood and heads falling, and there isn't even a hot guy. Okay, there's 2 hot guys, so that doesn't even do it for me. So, and Celebrity Apprentice? I mean, really?
That was years ago. I need to go update my profile apparently because I haven't watched that in about 5 years. The last time I watched it, Little John was on it.
Oh my God! And I have to ask you because I saw that you like American Horror Story Roanoke. I have not seen it, so I'm assuming that you have. So without too many words, is this even worth my time? Because you know, once Gaga came on, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't realize I had liked the Roanoke one. I think I just picked whatever was at the top of the list.
Lies on her Facebook page. Nice. People go to explore her, and she's lying on social media.
There's my black mark.
Lies. Damn it. Now I can't even get the goods on that. Okay, well, fine. Explain this Walking Dead phenomenon. I keep asking people this, and it's not because I'm stupid, because now I know I've only watched 2 episodes. What is it with you people? Why are you like junkies to this? I don't get it. I'm like, what is the appeal?
It's funny. It's really funny, actually, because I remember I was hearing everybody talk about it. Everybody's talking about it, and I'm like, what on earth could be so wonderful about a stupid zombie show? The world can only end one time, you know? But they have such incredible character development that you get so involved in these characters that, like, I mean, when some of them die, I cry. Like I just lost a friend, a personal friend. So they do a good job with characters. Yeah.
Okay, I did. Okay, got it. And you know what's his name just came on that show? The hottie, the guy the bad guy. How ironic that the bad guys are always hot, right? They're always hot.
I know. Yes.
They're always good looking on purpose because they're bad. Yeah, thank you very much. See, another reason I can't work the government, I like those tattooed, naughty, bad people that do bad things. I'm like, I would be awful. I would be awful in any form of any structured anything. And apparently, I guess somebody says Walking Dead is good. But no, I mean, people keep asking for you have to interview these Walking Dead people. And I'm like, I don't really have to. But I'm like, okay, I'll watch it just to kind of see. And my son, my 10-year-old son's like, Mom, you got to watch it. I'm like, where are you watching this? Because I know you ain't watching it at my house. Because I'm like, I see some of this. I mean, they kill people. Like, they kill it. Isn't that gross?
Well,
I mean,
if you interview somebody, you got to bring on Daryl, because Daryl is like the sweetheart of everyone, and he's your bad boy. You would love Daryl. He is your tattooed up bad boy.
Okay. Is he like that really main character guy, like people talk about? Because I've only seen two main characters.
Yeah,
okay,
he's one of the main characters. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll have to work on that just for you. Like 6 years from now when I really have an interest in it. Just kidding. Okay, moving right along to that. So apparently word on the street is maybe this is lies that she put out there too. Are you currently an active member of the Jamberry community? Are we consulting any longer? Because we may as well throw that out there.
Well, I do it as a hobby now. I've kind of had to, you said I've done too many things, so I kind of backed off on that. But I still have jams on my nails right now. My nails are always looking good.
Oh, look at that. See, there we go. Well, and the only reason I throw that out there is because I have people that live in all sorts of different states that listen to the show, et cetera. So I was like, well, this is an excellent opportunity to tout your business because somebody might be living in a state near you that might want some Jamberry or have a party, or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or maybe I'm just reporting journalism that's not current anymore because people don't update their stuff. Next statement. We'll see if this one's correct, but I'm pretty sure it is. Apparently, you are considered to be a triathlete, which I think is amazing because I'm fat and lazy. So I don't do that stuff anymore. I run, like after my children, if it counts, or not. So I'm going to guess that you're a triathlete, but now it's time to verify that fact. Would this be a truth or a misnomer?
I have indeed completed a sprint triathlon. And a full marathon and multiple half marathons. Oh, my God.
Dang! So. You're like too little for all that. Didn't you fall down? Like, seriously, I'm telling you, people, look at her picture. She's like this big, and the chick's running around all over the place doing all this athletic stuff. It's not working. Well, I don't get it.
Yeah, it was a few years ago, about 40 pounds ago, apparently.
Oh, stop. Well, that was going to be my next question to you because I have a girlfriend in New York City, like Dana Humphrey. You might know her from the Czars page because, folks, we did meet on the PR Czars page. So huge shout-out to Jennifer DeMarche for that one. But Dana Humphrey is on the page, our page, and she's a New Yorker, and she does these athlete stuff all the time, like triathlons and marathons and stuff like that. And I've been told that once you kind of get the bug for it, you try to get back to it as often as you can. So I guess that's my question to you. Is this one of those things somewhat passionate for you and that you may want to try again? If nothing else, just to do it again? Because it's great for you. I'm told it really is good for you.
It is. I miss running very much, actually. And it's hard to keep up the schedule with the kids, but I also had surgery on my knee last year, so I had to stop running entirely. But I'm strengthening my knees, so hopefully one of these days I will, because I don't ever want to run a full marathon again. 26.2 miles is just, not doing that again. But I'd love to get back into 5, 10Ks, maybe even a couple of half marathons.
Nice, very nice. Now, do they even do those in your neighborhood? You know what I'm saying? I wish that I could say I get to South Carolina a lot, but I don't. So I guess I don't know if that's, are these things that you have to travel to do? Like, do you have to go to, like, New York or other places that hold these? Or you do? Okay,
no,
so then you can do it right there locally.
Oh, yeah, they're local. And there's in the good season in spring, summer, fall, there's probably 2 or 3 local 5 and 10Ks every weekend. So there's plenty of opportunities. Yeah.
Wow. So apparently in South Carolina, you eat well, you don't watch American Horror Story, but you do like zombies, and apparently you eat a lot of good-looking food that's, well, I don't even know what gluten-free means. I mean, I do, but I don't, but I'm kind of like, okay, it's enough to know that. But just go to South Carolina and she'll educate you on that. Fun stuff, I'm sure.
I am not a typical South Carolinian. Put it that way.
Trust me when I tell you, darling, you're not typical anything. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but I know your bio, and there's nothing typical about you, or your personality for that matter. Now, I don't want to forget to mention, because on my show, this is a very big thing. There are 3 things that I admire, which is anybody that dedicates their life or their time for their passion, especially when it's entertaining or inspiring or motivating. And second of all, individuals who take their time of themselves to devote to others. In this case, you've obviously served for the military, you've served for our country. You've also done volunteer work for the March of Dimes. So I was curious at this point in time if you still maintain a relationship with them or other organizations that you find time to work with.
Yes. Yes, and this is actually really good timing because I just put my page back up yesterday, and I'm getting ready to do a big push to raise money for our walk that's coming up in April. And yes, this is something I'll never separate from the March of Dimes. My twins were born 10 weeks early, and one of them, as I mentioned earlier, passed away after 2 days, and the other one spent 12 weeks in the NICU. And we saw firsthand how much it takes money-wise, time-wise, training-wise, research-wise, all of those things to keep those little babies alive. And I have a little miracle running around because of the advances in neonatal care. So, yeah, that'll be a forever thing for me.
Awesome. And I know that you advocate certain other particular organizations. So can you tell some of the folks of what some of the things that you support or some of the different organizations that they may not know about that could use a little bit of help?
Yes. Well, some of the larger ones that I support people will probably know about. Moms Demand Action, which is for responsible gun control, basically. And some smaller ones that Children's Miracle Network is obviously huge, but we do a lot with our Children's Hospital to raise money and awareness for that. I have a very tiny little nonprofit called Sunshine After the Storm, which supports grieving parents with care packages after the loss of a baby. There's the Ruthie Lou Foundation, which is also started by a mother who lost her daughter to a condition after 33 days, and that's a great one and not very well known. Let me think. Basically anything. I love local stuff. We have a local chapter of, it's called Mommy to Mommy, I think, or Moms. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. That's horrible. But they do diaper drives because this is so crazy to me. Diapers are not WIC approved. So we have all of these like lower income, impoverished people who can't even get diapers with their government subsidies. So they collect diapers and do diaper drives. But yeah, diaper shortage is apparently a huge issue in the country. Who would have thunk it?
Okay.
So.
Oh, no kidding, right? Wow.
Yeah. Anything that supports people who don't have a voice, really. Children, sexual assault victims, victims of violence, all kinds of stuff like that. I have a wide variety of passion. So.
No, I can see that clearly, obviously. Speaking of passions, boy, I can't wait to get an answer on this. And actually, I'm kind of nervous about asking it. So I've weighed the pros and cons. And we all know on my show that I pretty much let it all hang out. So having said that, I'm going to ask that very dangerous question because I think you and I are very much on the same page about this subject. So I've been letting people, as they come onto the show, talk about this because I just put a big rant on this with my 10 reasons why I don't like a certain someone that existed today. And I'm sure we all know who I'm referring to. So I'm going to assume that you voted this year. I'm going to assume that you did not vote for the current administration.
I did not.
And you don't have to tell me which, but of course I didn't either. I think, one of the reasons that I like having this show is that people can speak very freely. And so what I've said to people is from now on, when anyone comes on the show, if there's anything that you want to say about it or anything that you wish to encourage other people to do, et cetera, I'm wholeheartedly for that. I'm aghast. I'm very sad for our country. And because you have worked for our government, because you have worked for the military, you're probably one of the better people to speak about is this selection that our country has done, wise or unwise, and why or why not, is really the big question in my mind.
Well, that's a really, really big question. But I would say, it's one of those things where I honestly supported the other candidate largely because of my views on feminism, and not in the, I hate men feminism, but in the we're not equal yet, and I will speak loudly until we are. but and because of her experience and her vast knowledge in all of the policy areas. And I mean, you know, if anybody ever took the two candidates and compared them by experience and knowledge and nothing else, hands down, it was obvious who would be better running the country. But, you know, we voted, we had our election, everything went the way it went. But I am so concerned right now because of partisan politics, because what I feel like I see happening is everybody on the right side, it looks like on the Republican side, I feel like they're just shutting up and letting things go because their candidate won, instead of looking at everything and saying, is this really what's best for our country? Is it really best for our country that a white supremacist is standing up there supporting our country? And that I saw a clip, you know, I saw a news clip that came from one of my friends in France, actually. I didn't see this on American news anywhere, but it was I think an Al Jazeera reporter that was kicked out of a news conference thingy. And the fact he was kicked out doesn't really bother me. Presidents kick out journalists that are annoying them all the time. But what happened next was when he took him out into the hallway, and the security guy that escorted him out was like, you don't get to speak. You have no voice. Get the bleep out of my country, you immigrant, or something, something even worse than that. And the guy was like, I am a naturalized U.S. citizen. He was like, your voice doesn't count. And that's the kind of stuff that just like, that scares me more than anything. What just happened with the Secretary of Education, where, I mean, everybody, both sides, everybody, I saw so many people saying, this is not right. We don't want her. She's not good. And they did it anyway. And, you know, I don't know. And then Jeff Sessions. Oh, my God. Don't even get me started on Jeff Sessions. But I keep thinking, that's a whole other show. I'm going to wake up and be like, you know what, it's okay. He's only one man. He's not going to destroy our country. We only have to make it through 4 years. But every day something else happens that I'm like, when are all the people who are being silent going to wake up and say, this is not good? And we have to use our voice as an American, not as a Democrat or a Republican, as an American, and say, that is not good. So
no, I
that's
agree
how I
with you
feel
100%.
about it.
It drives me nuts. Well, and you know, and we talk about this on my show a lot because I can't deal with it anymore. Because I'm like, you know what? If I get deleted by one more person, if I get told that I'm a complete liberal and I don't look at it any other way, or this, or this, I'm like, seriously, back off. I never said I was a liberal. What I did say is that I believe that, you know, women. I said this the other day. You know, I don't know how people overlook the fact. And granted, I try to be very open-minded. But I'm not running for president. So if I go off and I do a photo spread and I'm naked, I'm not running for president. But that role model that sits in that office is supposed to mean something. And so when you got Playboy Penthouse girl over there, you know, it just sets the tone for one of 150 things that you can talk about. But the bottom line is, I don't like the ugliness. I think if we do not unite as a country, regardless of who runs it, all this anarchy, all this protesting with violence, all of these things that go on and people fighting and ending friendships, it's sad. I mean, I've seen people who are breaking up over this. I'm like, seriously? Come on now. I'm still the same chick. I just got a bigger mouth. You know what I'm saying? So it does. It's very demoralizing to hear that sort of thing. But I was like, okay. But I watched your post, so I knew exactly where you were headed with that one. So I'm like, bam on that one. So well, there you go.
You just said something, actually, that you hit it right on the head. It's the ugliest. It's the ugliness more than anything else. It's the lack of respect. It's the complete disregard for other humans, for other people. It's it's the egotism that just it just makes me ill.
Right? I mean, just sitting in your chair, you just want to scream, right? Because I go through this all the time, like every day now. I'm like, I literally want to blow my hat off right now because I'm so pissed about it. But that's just how it is, you know. So my feeling is I'm going to have to find a more strategic way to try to get my voice to be heard. Because I try to tell people this all the time, and maybe I'm delusional for thinking this, but people walk around with this ideology of it doesn't really matter because he's in office and we can't change anything, and we can't make a difference. But you can.
And they're wrong.
You can.
They're so wrong. Yep.
And I keep telling people that all the time, and I'm like, you know what? I have this film festival coming up. We might just make that a little political platform for a portion of it. I know I'm going to be the worst woman in the world then, but I'm like, ask me if I care. Name on this show, still
Right.
mine next week. Mr. Trump's not coming on to take my show away, so whatever. Trump,
That's right.
Trump, not my president. There you go, hashtag it, folks. Not my president. All right, moving on to much more pleasant things. So let's talk about podcasts. I want to let everybody know that you have a podcast, and not only that, exciting, Aubrey Mathis just joined the show, new co-host of the podcast. So talk about her, talk about the show.
Okay, so Aubrey is one of those people that we met kind of unexpectedly through a community of mom entrepreneurs that we're both in, and we really we really just hit it off. I interviewed her for the podcast, and it was like I was talking to my long-lost sister, and we're in a couple other groups together, and when I decided that I wanted to bring on a co-host, she kind of came to mind immediately. So
nice.
we've been having a lot of fun with it. We're trying to grow it. It's a podcast that I started just to interview moms because I was lonely and bored and at home with my kids. And since then, I have grown it into it's a podcast now for working moms, for business women who are also moms, basically. So we focus a lot on resources and things that can help us in our day-to-day, but, we have a good time, too. We have a really good time.
That is totally cool. Now, if folks want to check out that podcast of yours, how often are you doing that nowadays? Because I wasn't quite clear.
We put out an episode every Monday and every Wednesday, and we're on Stitcher and iTunes and on our website at losethecape.com.
That's kind of what I thought. Okay, I just wanted to verify and double-check that, folks. So that's number one. You want to check that out, of course. And Aubrey, is she getting along well and things are progressing well and she's getting the hang of it? Things are good?
Oh, yeah. She's hilarious. She's hilarious. She is she's literally a cowboy's wife. Her husband is a rodeo professional.
Oh, my gosh.
And, so she's a Texas girl, and the stuff that comes out of her mouth just kills me. It kills me.
Really? Look at that. Yeah, because this is the most I've seen you laugh. And I like that. I like the fact that you actually laugh. That's good, because God knows you probably don't have more than 5 minutes to laugh in your life. I'm telling you this right now. That's another thing. For all these cute little pictures she takes and she's smiling, the other parts of them, I'm like, oh, my God, she looks like her head is just ready to explode. So I think you kind of do that dance in between. My life is wonderful, and I'm so happy, and I couldn't be more delighted to – I'm going to beat on someone in like 15 seconds flat. So it's like I think that there's very little I think with you there's like little fluctuation time. Like I'm thrilled or someone's in trouble, and it's that simple.
Right.
Just a guess. I'm just saying. There you go.
Yes.
All right, on to the next thing. She's been named Boss Mom of the Week. I want to know how you get to be Boss Mom of the Week. How does that happen? Because I think I'm a total boss mom, and I think I'm totally awesome. So how does that happen? How do we make that happen?
So Dana Malstaff, who is an incredible business coach to women and runs the Boss Moms community on Facebook, and also has a website by the same name, the Boss Moms, boss-moms.com. And you can nominate yourself. So I did. There's no shame in that.
Listen to her. I'm my own cheerleader, so I'm doing it right now. That's right. Let's make me Boss Mom. And I did. Darn it. Look at you go, you little overachiever. Oh, my God. She's so cute. So cute. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we have to double-check my journalism skills because apparently lies are on social media. So I've been told that you are a member of the Independent Book Publishers Association and the Mid-Atlantic Book Publishers Association. Would that indeed be a correct statement at this point in your life, or is that something that you just did temporarily and you've kind of moved along from that point?
I am definitely in the IBPA, and actually I just let my membership lapse to the Mid-Atlantic because they're no longer an affiliate of the IBPA anymore. So I'm researching that to see what's going on with that. Yeah, so maybe that was just a temporary lapse, but it wasn't super active, so I decided not to put my money there. But I did join the ALLI, the Alliance of, oh, God, I can't remember what it stands for, something of Independent Authors Alliance, ALLI.
So it's important, folks. There you go.
It's a great organization. Yes, it's a great organization.
What's the name again?
ALLI.
It's so great she doesn't know the name. Okay.
I am a horrible person. No, I just joined it. They do all kinds of events for indie authors and
I think I've heard of it before.
Yeah,
definitely, because I'd like to look into that too. Which poses a really good question once again, because there's a bunch of people listening in that are in the creative arts and the writing in particular. Some people don't understand the value or why they should appreciate being part of an association such as that. So maybe talk a little bit about some of the benefits that you've reaped by associating with these particular organizations.
Well, each has their own benefits, I think, but for me, the biggest benefit is one community of people who are doing what you're trying to do, and they provide so much knowledge-based information. Well, with IDPA, for example, you get discounts. They have partnerships with all kinds of businesses that support indies and what we're doing, so they have discounts to those. They have webinar series every week or 2 weeks. They have a ton of resources and information. It's networking. It's connecting with the people you need to be with. They do a huge conference each year that I have not been able to make it to yet, but I'm going one of these years. And then, yeah, and same with most of them. Membership always gets you something, whether it's some type of educational series that no one else is getting, or like with ALLI, I'm a partner member, so they'll put my my business website on their website. So if people are looking for interior design or publishing help, my name is out there.
Oh, awesome!
In there, yeah. So I mean, there's a ton of different ones out there for writers and authors and publishers and everything. So you just kind of have to go with what makes sense for you. IDPA makes sense for me because I actually have a micro-publishing house. So I actually need the publishing skills and knowledge and all that kind of stuff. But if you're just a freelance writer or a writer, then maybe some of the other associations make more sense.
Gotcha. Perfectly understandable. I get it. Well, good. I got one fact right of the whole interview. Woo! Okay, moving right along.
More than one.
Let's get on to talking about some very important things. And if you knew me a little bit better, or you might know me well enough to know this already, 90% of the time I enjoy making a huge fool of myself and talking like a smart ass so as to provide levity and comfort, and hopefully now my guest here is a little more comfortable and less nervous, I hope. Because obviously you get to that point in the interview that frankly I've been very nervous to get to. We want to talk about your blog, which is No Holding Back, which is an outlet for you and many others. I would like to, as comfortable as comfortable you find yourself talking about a bit of your daughter's story, Catherine's story, and talk to us a little bit about, to those that have no familiarity with TTIS, what that is and what we can do to try to eliminate that altogether so that other mothers are not feeling or living with what you are.
Right. So, well, first of all, an interesting fact about twins is that they still don't know what makes the egg split for identical twins or multiple, more than that. So basically anyone who can have a baby can have identical twins, which I never realized.
Gotcha.
I thought that was a genetic thing. It's fraternal twins that run through the family things. So anybody can have identical twins. So I think it's important that everybody who can have a baby knows about TTIS, just in case. What it is it's twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. Basically, when you have identical twins, they share a placenta, and you have all kinds of like vessels that are inserted into the placenta, and of course their umbilical cord and all that kind of stuff. Well, if the placental divide, I'm sorry for the terms here, but if they're not getting the same amount, if one of them has less vessels than the other, all this stuff, basically one of them can wind up getting too much fluid, and the other one winds up getting not enough fluid. So you wind up with babies that one's basically being starved out by the other, but the bigger problems come with all of the extra fluid going into the recipient baby, which can cause heart defects and something called hydrops fetalis, which is when they start building up fluid in their cavities around their heart and their abdomen and in their brain and in other places. And there can be so many kinds of problems. And then the little babies, they can wind up without fluid at all, which winds up, the kidneys and, they will die without the fluid, obviously. So there are a couple of treatment options out there. The most successful is a fetal laser ablation surgery that goes in and tries to sever some of the connecting vessels so that they're not unequally sharing as much. And there's also, we were told we were not eligible to have that surgery because I had an anterior placenta, which means my placenta was on the outside of my stomach, and it would have been harder. They would have had to go in through my back instead of through my front. So apparently that was wrong information, which leads me to my next point, that OBs and even maternal fetal medicine managers, which are the experts, the specialists in high-risk pregnancies, half of them don't even know about TTIS and what's happening with it. And we received a lot of really poor information. And I'm not sure, there's a lot to that story. But basically at 20 weeks, we were told, when we went in for our anatomy scan to see how the babies were doing, we were told that they were both going to die. And we wound up going into the hospital at that point, and that's when we met with the first maternal fetal manager, who told us that pretty much our only option at that point was to do an amnioreduction, where they would stick a big, long, gigantic needle into my abdomen and pull out a whole bunch of the extra fluid out of Catherine's side. But if that triggered early delivery, there was nothing they could do because we were only 20 weeks. So we went ahead and did that. Everything was fine. We kept going. Anyway, there's a whole lot that happened in that process. I wound up being in the hospital with them for almost 5 weeks because they were starting to have a lot of problems. So they put me on 24/7 fetal monitoring and all that. So I spent a long time in a hospital bed, and they were born at just over 30 weeks. And Catherine had developed all of those problems that I talked about with the recipient baby. She had her heart, her entire right side of her heart had stopped functioning, so she now had congenital heart disease. And she had fluid building up massively in her body, so her lungs were not able to develop, and they just could never really stabilize her. So we had her for 2 days, and then she went home. But then my little one had just reached the point where she was big enough to actually be born and survive. She was 1 pound 10 ounces when she was born. And we often say that Catherine held on long enough to save her, because if they'd been born any earlier, they both would have died. So, yeah, my little one's a fighter. She's a little spitfire, and every day we know why she survived, because the child, she might be tiny, but she is mighty.
Ooh. So I can imagine where she gets that spitfire from. Holy mackerel. Take a guess on that one, folks, right? Now, for the women that you've encountered, because I assume that you've had interactions, conversations, discussions, et cetera, with other women who have lost children and have had to deal with this, if you could tell me a little bit about what you found most instrumental, meaning something someone did, something someone said. Is there anything oftentimes that anyone can say or do that makes a fundamental difference in that process or that journey towards acceptance?
Well, I will say that there's a lot of things you shouldn't say. Like the last thing to tell a mom who just lost her baby was, it's all in God's plan, or everything happens as it should, or you can have another one, or anything like that. No. Stay away from that. But the things that are the most, and the things that are the most helpful, you know, it's hard to say because people take things so differently, but the one thing that I have agreed, that I find across the board, is that if you tell the mother, your baby will not be forgotten, I am thinking of you, I am always here to listen if you want to talk to me, I love you, or I'm here for you, or something like that, supportive. You pretty much can't go wrong with that. Of course. But don't stay silent. There are so many people that don't know what to say, so they don't say anything at all.
Right.
And that is really hurtful. It's really hurtful.
Yes. In fact, I had just been speaking to someone about this. I have a dear friend in New York City, and this is not the same, obviously. I'm of the firm belief that losing a child is obviously clearly very different than the loss of a partner, et cetera. And he lost his partner, and one of the things, and I'm not sure in your experience if this happened, but people have been pushing at him. You know, he lost his partner about 6 months ago. And they've been kind of pushing at him, you know, you need to get up, you need to find a new partner, you need to kind of move on with things. And he's really struggled with that. You know, I see him tell people all the time, like, you know what, leave me alone and let me do what I need to do. So I guess that's my other question to you is that process really as they say it is, which is on your own time, on your own dime, on your own terms, meaning, you know when you're ready. And was it a tremendous journey to get to some level of acceptance? Was it a long process for you?
Well, I'll tell you that they just passed their 5th birthday in December, and it's only been within the last 6 months or so that I've felt like I'm truly back. And the thing is, grief counselors and grief studies will show you that the heavy grief period on average is 18 to 24 months, 18 to 2 years before you should start pushing people to do anything, because some people get over it faster, some people get over it and takes longer time. But you know, within weeks of miscarriages or infant loss, within weeks and months, people are already like, you need to get over it, you need to move on. Well, they can't. It's not that they're trying to be stuck in that place. Some people just can't. And, you know, so people need to have a little bit more patience and understand that it's a journey and support, you know. And I know, trust me, I know it's hard. I've had to leave groups of loss groups where people just stayed in a negative place for years and years and years, and that was never my goal. I never wanted to be that person who just could not move on. But so I try to find ways to bring light back in. But people need time. They do, and if they're not ready, don't push them.
Well, I totally get what you're talking about. I do, and it's interesting that most of the mothers that I know that have lost children, and I have plenty of them on my list, and I know who they are. They've buried their children, and I see them immerse themselves in anything and everything as a means to deal with their grief. Would you concur that is that a healthy or somewhat harmful method to cope? I'm just asking. I know there's really no guidebook for this.
I think it depends on who you ask. For me, it's what kept me alive and functioning, to be so busy that I didn't have time to be lost, you know?
I totally get it.
If you were to ask my family, they'd say it was a really bad thing because I was so busy I couldn't do anything else. But I'm like, you know, which would you rather, that I'm over here doing all of these other things, or that I'm curled up in the corner crying in a ball? So,
sure. Definitely. Certainly. And we should address, obviously, the opposite side of the fence, because we try to be very unified on this front in terms of, obviously, when a child is lost, it's not the mom's loss alone, it's also dad.
Right.
So on the flip side of the fence, to the dads that are out there that are grieving, et cetera, in terms of your husband, were there certain things or time that he needed, or certain ways that made life easier for him in terms of his grasping with your grief as well as his own?
It's interesting because men grieve so differently than women. And with my husband, he took the time that he needed, which was basically up till her funeral. He mourned her, and then he went on. And, you know, it was hard for him. I think he often felt I was stuck, when I don't think I was stuck. I just had to move through the different phases and process it differently. But, yeah, losing a child can really be a horrific, stressful thing on a marriage, because of the fact that people do respond so differently. And, in fact, I was talking to someone yesterday who just came across the 2nd-year anniversary, and she'd had a little breakdown, and her husband was like, you need to just move on and get over it. And, you know, that's not helpful either.
Well, of course
not. He was done, so he felt she should be. Yeah. So, yeah.
I get it. I completely get it. I do. And, of course, one of the nice things that you've done in addition to, obviously, there's the No Holding Back blog, and then you did different books relative to this, obviously, meaning Sunshine After the Storm. I know you've done the Survival Guide for Grieving Mothers. And then, listen, there's a child there. That's so cute. There's a kid in the background. That's not mine.
Oh, you can hear them? Oh, gosh.
Of course I can. It's so cute. There's little people. Hi.
I'm in the garage, like hiding in my garage, and I said,
"Oh my God, you person!" Oh my God. Okay, now I got to move faster because there's people on the radar there. She's also done How to Support a Grieving Mother, which is words to say and things to do for a mother who has lost her baby. I didn't want to forget to ask this question. If there are people that are listening in that have heard your story and they want to do something or work with an organization that helps parents of TTTF, who do you think they should reach out to, or what can they do?
So there's the TTTS Foundation, which is a great site for information and questions you should ask your doctor and things that you can find out, and that's just ttsfoundation.org. And then there's a couple other hospitals that do research. If you Google TTTS, you can find more research-based places, which is really where I like to put my emphasis because there needs to be a lot of research to figure out how they can come up with better ways to manage and control it. So
I understand. I do. Now, I don't want to forget to clarify this either. By the way, when you Google or you go onto Amazon and you look, funny, it says Alexa has 9 books. I know you don't have 9 books. It says you have 9 books on Amazon. Then it lists all these different books, and I'm thinking, am I researching somebody that's not physically there? So if you could clarify for us the books that you actually have authored or co-authored, because it is a bit confusing. So I just want to clarify so I'm not giving wrong information. So go for it.
Right. Well, so the reason it says so many is because I've been listed in anthologies that I have a story, a chapter in. But my books are Sunshine After the Storm, A Survival Guide for the Grieving Mother. I have an ebook that's a very similar title that's things you can do to help a grieving mother. Let's see. I have Lose the Cape, Realities from Busy Modern Moms and Strategies to Survive. I have Lose the Cape, which we did an anthology, which is Never Will I Ever. And then I had Kids, which is a bunch of funny stories of things we all said we'd never do. And then we had kids and we were like, okay. And then I'm actually working on my first fiction book, which I'm excited about because I'm going to France to research. It's about some very strong women in France in World War II, and it's going to be called Angel of the Burning Night. And then I have another nonfiction that's coming out soon, which is called Just Write It, and it's basically a guide for people who are afraid to tackle their book or their story or whatever it is, and basically debunking all the and myths and giving practical advice on how to get your book done and out.
Is there anything you haven't written yet? See what I'm talking about? I don't even know how she breathes. I don't even know. Do you have time to go to the bathroom or shower? Because I'm she's busy writing her 17th novel right now, so leave her alone. Good Lord, woman. My God.
I'm a typical creative everywhere, all the time.
And that's important, though. That's why I bring people on my show. That creative chameleon thing is what I call it. I'm like, oh, my God, the more stuff you do, the more excited I get. It's nuts. We don't want to forget the obvious here, which is write, publish, sell. We want to talk about write, publish, sell. You have this analogy, which is we help with everything but the words. So explain that to people, because that is a really cool catchphrase. I'm like, that's so awesome. She's going to help me with everything but the one thing I need, which is words. But, okay, I can live with that. So what can you offer the average person out there, the average author out there, who's in need of help? And how do they know that they need your help, I guess, is really the big question, because some might not even know at what point where, hey, we need to solicit some of Alexa's help.
Yeah, so we offer a soup-to-nuts solution, basically. I like to have it so it's simple, so when people need help, they can come to us for either one service or they can come for the whole shebang and not have to worry about anything. And I really love working with authors who have an idea and maybe have started writing but haven't completed their book, so that I can get them when there's still enough time for us to lay the foundation for all the other things that have to happen when you're publishing a book, your platform growth, your social media, your everything that goes along with preparing for a launch, getting you with the book editor at the right time, getting your cover design done correctly, all that kind of stuff. So I offer group coaching programs. I offer one-on-one coaching programs. I offer support services like the social media management, Facebook ads, book launches, all that kind of stuff. And we technically do help with the words because we also offer ghostwriting. But basically
nice.
what we meant, what we meant was I'm not going to, well, that's funny. Ghostwriting aside, I'm not going to write your words for you, but I'm going to do everything else you need to do to get this book out into the world and successfully.
That's awesome. And you know what's really cool about you, and I say this all the time on my show, I am an author like you are an author. I'm in radio. Other people are in radio. And you would be amazed. I don't know if you get this often, but there are fellow authors where some of them are so competitive or so concerned or so nervous that there's less time doing self-promotion, meaning promoting one another,
right.
networking with one another. It's amazing to me. I'm like, I would interview an author in a heartbeat. I am not insecure.
Right.
I mean, I'm not the best writer in the world, but I've done my thing. You've done your thing. Who else is going to promote you? Who better to promote you than someone who does what you do, right? But instead people are like, well, I don't know about that. Well, what the hell? I'm not Stephen King, neither are you, okay? He's the big dog. We got to get rid of him to get anywhere, just so you know, people. But you know what I mean? I just think it's ridiculous. Yeah. So I'm like, I always get excited when somebody like you comes along and says, let's help other people to try to get their words, which to me is magic out of a pen onto paper means nothing if nobody reads it or sees it. It just sits there. It has no life.
Right.
You know, so that's important. Exactly. That people do that. That's why this is so integral. And you have to explain the Cat Biggie name. You have to explain it. It's so significant.
Yes. Well, Cat Biggie Press is kind of the umbrella corporation. It's my publishing house. So I actually do have my own imprint and publish. And when I wanted to keep my daughter alive in some way, shape, or form, so I gave her own company. So Cat is for Catherine, and Biggie is for Bigwarfe, and that's how Cat Biggie Press came to be.
See, check that out. So, you know, she comes on my show, and she likes stuff that I don't, and she talks about all this gluten stuff, and she watches programs that I like, and then she just makes me fall completely in love with her. And I'm kidding, folks. I have adored her since the first conversation we ever had. I have to ask you how Darren is doing, because I have not talked to him recently. So how are things with his stories, with his books, with him? What's going on?
Well, I'm not quite sure because he's kind of gone incognito lately. I know he was going to take a...
Okay.
No. I think he's taken a little bit of a break, which happens, unfortunately, with writers who get burnt out and need to go away. But, yeah, I hope he's
and that was our connection.
I really do.
Right?
Yes.
I do, too. We're sending out prayers and thoughts and wonderful good things for you, Darren, just so you know that, even if you're not listening right now. Now, because wasn't this quick? This was like an hour and 7 minutes already. Can you believe how fast this went? And I literally tried to keep you on task because I was afraid somebody's going to yell at me. But like, you know what? I gave you an hour and 7 minutes past. I'm afraid somebody is going to come on and be like, I'm from the government, and just so you know, we have to take her away now.
You're too funny.
You have heard my show. You already know what's about to happen now. First of all, we have to go through. Now, you may as well sit down, folks. There are so many ways to find her. It's going to take me like 12 minutes to say it. So now you get to be quiet. I'm going to read off everything I've found. We'll see if my journalism skills are still up to par here. So her name, folks, just so you know, I'll give out the various websites first. That's probably the best way to go when finding you, which is the two different websites are writepublishsell.co. That's the company, of course. That's her main one where she's helping authors to find their words, so to speak, and to do something with them. So that's writepublishsell.co. Cat Biggie, which is K-A-T, and then BIGGIE.com. The podcast is Lose the Cape, which is lose, L-O-S-E, thecape.com. And then, of course, these are all the various different ways, so just hold on before you say anything else. She is on Facebook. She's a real person. But guess what? Her name's not Alexa Bigwarfe on there. It's actually Alexa Haddock, like the fish, Bigwarfe. So let's spell that. Alexa's A-L-E-X-A. Haddock is H-A-D-D-O-C-K. And the last name is spelled B-I-G, like big, W-A-R-F-E. So that's the actual spelling of her name. So on Facebook, she has a personal page if you want to look her up and find her. Obviously, of course, she's also on there as a business person with the name Alexa and, of course, Bigwarfe as the last name. She is on Smashwords, SheWrites.com, Amazon.com, iTunes.com, Barnes & Noble, Twitter, which is @ and then cat and then Biggie, Biggie. Goodreads. She has a LinkedIn profile. SunshineAfterStorm.us. And, of course, obviously we do not want to forget the organization TTTS, which is fighttts.com. And, of course, the website itself, AlexaBigwarfe.com. And, again, it's spelled BIGWARFE.com. And, of course, iTunes. Did I forget anything?
Instagram. I'm Pat Biggie
I
on
hate
Instagram.
you. Just kidding. Doggone it. See, I knew I was going to forget Instagram, but I swear I looked everywhere and I'm like, she doesn't have an Instagram. Fine. What's the Instagram? Ugh. I don't like you anymore.
That's fine. No, you did great. That was a lot.
Well, I mean, right? I mean, it cracks me up when I look up people and I'm like, how do you find her? Well, there's about 8,000 ways. So just sit down, we can write down every single one. Because it's like, it's crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Because nowadays you almost have to be everywhere, don't you? Literally.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You do. You have to be everywhere.
If people can't find me, they are not looking.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, as soon as you Google you, there's 8,000 of these things, right? So I'm just like, oh, my God, I'm afraid to even look at you. But, no, seriously, you're, like, iconic. I don't even think you know it, but it's like, really true. You're, like, totally iconic. So, by the way, folks, the Instagram is, again, Kat, K-A-T, and then Biggie, B-I-G-G-I-E. And I should know this because guess what? I'm following you, but I don't have it listed. Way to go, smarty journalist. Now, you know, we've reached the part of our show, and we all know what I do. If you listen and you know, I only have 2 more questions left for you. This question, you know, I asked Aaron, and I know you're not going to let me down. I know you're going to say yes, and I know you're going to give me the cell phone number. Do you know what the question is?
Oh, yes, but I don't have his number. I don't know your guy.
I don't even get the word out. I don't even say his name, and it's an immediate no.
No.
You know, Valentine's Day is coming up
iconic.
next week. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if Cindy had that interview next week for Valentine's Day? Michael Manson, are you alive? Do you live somewhere, anywhere around here? Can you call Alexa, please? Apparently she can't help me either. Nice. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry.
Glad we did this interview. Not. It's okay. It's another rejection. There's like 16 a month, so don't feel bad. I'm getting used to it. It's like a writer that's never been published. So we've reached that part of the program, as we all know, and you know because you've listened. This is the part where I get to tell you what I think of you. Now, it's not very often that this radio show host finds herself in this predicament. I've been on air for 4.5 years. I have only cried twice on air.
Oh.
I have prepared myself for 6 hours today, and I told myself I am not going to cry when I say this to you. So I'm going to try really super hard. That's hard for me. I don't want to forget to remind everybody, obviously, of 2 different things. If you are a public relations person and you're looking for a home and a place to go to meet wonderful people like myself, Alexa, Kim, a number of other publicists I work with have been found through the PR Czars page. So please go to my page or go to Alexa's page and look it up. I'm not right in front of the computer, so forgive me. I don't have the exact Czar page name, but it's out there. And there's about 20,400 people, and they're wonderful souls. I've met some wonderful clients, done some great interviews. Like I said, courtesy of Alexa, Darren was on the show. Obviously, she's now on the show. And thank you so much, by the way, because I watch everything, and I saw after the interview, she went on the Czar page, and she said the nicest thing about me. And I thought, oh, I want to know that little redheadish girl. I do. And then I want to bring her on my show and scare the hell out of her because this is your first show. And guess what? You'll always remember your first show because it will never be, I guarantee you, no one else will ever interview you the same way. That's the whole reason I started this show, is so that I could be very different. So, folks, just so you know, 2 hours after the show is finished, which will be shortly, it will be an archived episode. So you can let everybody know, your fans, your followers, anybody, they can go listen all year round. They can go back to that link and they can listen in and hear our talking. Well, you're laughing and making fun of me and me screwing up my journalistic talents, apparently, because the Internet's wrong, folks, apparently. But having said all that, these are my impressions of Alexa. And just so you know, in case those of you listening in forgot or my guest doesn't know this, everything on this show is scripted with the exception of the last part. This is all hard talking. It's always all hard talking in the last 5 minutes. It's important to me that my guests and people that listen in or might want to know you know why I like you, know what I am impressed by, know what inspires me to have you on my show. So here goes. These are my impressions of this fiery, look at this, I can't even talk ready. I hate you. in the best way. This Spitfire, this lovely little redhead Spitfire girl comes and approaches me and says, I need some help. I have this author, and he needs to get some exposure. And I gladly said to her, without even knowing her, by the way, I said, let's get this guy on the show and let's do something. And we got into talking about little things, mom things, all sorts of different things. And I started to watch her page and started to get to know who she was. The first thing that I noticed about her, before knowing about her child, her children, or her plights, or her sorrows, was her level of energy and enthusiasm by which she brings to everything. She cooks, she gets excited. She writes something, she gets excited. Trump comes out, she gets excited. She never loses her momentum, her meaning, or her mindset as it relates to what's important to her and what matters. That's a huge quality when it comes to being a writer. Being excited about things is what makes us get excited and do things, magical things on a piece of paper. So number one, it's her level of enthusiasm. Number two, I'm not going to lie, I've said it 8 times, she's short and she's got red hair and she's so darn pretty. I can't even stand it. She's so cutesy. She's like one of those girls that you go out to a bar with and then you dance on a table and you get silly and she turns and her face is all red and she's glowing. She has life glowing inside of her. I have come to learn in my heart, and having searched this, that light that glows inside of there is from others like her and me and many others that I know that have lost someone very significant that they love very much, that they carry with them all the time, that they can't be here now, so they carry them inside. One of the best, most inspirational things that I can say about this woman is any person who has either buried a child and then lived to talk about it, to tell about it with such strength, with such conviction, with less sorrow than I talk about it now, is remarkable and incredible and inspiring and motivating. I am certain with every fiber of my being that the most beautiful angels come from the most beautiful mothers. And I am certain with all of my heart that it's made you stronger, it's made you smarter, to be protected by an angel of a quality that not all of us have. So the only thing that I can say to you is I won't. You're a remarkably human being for living and breathing day in and day out without the most important person in your life. You should be commended for that. And God should grace you for that as well. On the other side of the fence, she's funny, she's intelligent, she's sassy. She has goal and purpose. She is not arrogant. She is not one of those women that you can walk around and ignore in a room. She walks into a room and her presence is felt. Why? Not because she has the biggest mouth in the room or because she has published the most books, but because she's likable, she's approachable, and she longs to get your attention in the most pleasant way possible. She's not demanding. She's not pushy. Her work is well written, well thought out, well structured, just like her business is, just like her mindset. She is a delight and a treasure to know. She makes my heart smile when I listen to all of the excitement and enthusiasm, all the fun and interesting stuff that she does with her family. I have every confidence and ability and believe that you are going to make this business a success, that you are going to help all of your fellow authors become a success. You really are a very big shining star. And truly, it's an honor to know you. And the last thing that I want to leave you with is one of the main reasons I wanted to interview you is because, believe it or not, we are far more similar than you would think, and not just because of the things we write or because of the things that we watch, because I, too, have built a life for 2 years now, and I'm so busy all the time that I never have to feel the loss of my own child in my life. So you made me feel as though it's okay to be like that. And it's acceptable to feel like that. So I owe you a debt of gratitude, and I will be forever pissed if I don't get a chance to be in a room with you, if nothing more than just to hug you and say, your existence is exciting and enthusiastic in my world. So thank you.
Oh. Well, thank you. That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
Oh, my God, now you are going to make me cry. So don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
That was amazing.
Remember you were on Facebook like, oh, we got to go on this radio interview today. See, was it so awful? No,
it was wonderful. I knew it was good.
Right?
I remembered.
Well, that's just it. Now I need to drink. Thanks a lot. It's 4:18 in my world, and now I'm going to be having wine in 15 minutes, so thanks you. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
So
thank you so much. This is what I want to leave you with. I do not want to forget 2 hours, and this is going to be archived. Obviously, I don't need to tell you if you have other authors that need exposure and you like my work, which you do. Send it my way, obviously. The next time you have a project, come along and send it my way as far as that goes and such. And the other thing I will not tell you publicly. I'll tell you privately. I have one other surprise for you, but that's something I'll share just for you. So all I can say is I apologize that I took you away from your children so long. I know it was an hour and 20 minutes, but it was well worth it. And I'm crossing my fingers. You've got a backer and a supporter here, and you're adorable and wonderful. And get the hell off my phone now.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, darling. I'll talk to you later.
Cream. Thank you.
I'm not worried about it. Go do your thing. Have a great day, darling.
Thanks. You too.
All right, honey. Talk to you later.
Okay.
I'm kind of proud of myself, but not really. I feel kind of bad because I think I maybe welled up, but right? Incredible, amazing. I don't even know where to go. Now I have to read all of this again. So one more time, the following websites. Cat, which is, of course, as we mentioned, named after Catherine, which is catbiggie.com. WritePublishSell.co. The podcast is LoseTheCape.com. And keep in mind, they do the 2 episodes every week. And if memory serves me right, it was Monday and Wednesday. She has an author page on Amazon.com. Smashwords. She can also be found on SheWrites.com. SunshineAfterStorm.us. She's on LinkedIn and has a profile. Goodreads.com. BarnesandNoble.com. Her actual basic website, meaning hers, name with her name, I should say, which is Alexa and then Bigwarfe, BIGWARFE.com. The website, of course, for TTTS, which is FightTTTS.com. And, of course, we also don't want to forget iTunes, as well as, of course, Instagram, which she was kind to remind me of, which is Cat, K-A-T, and then B-I-G-G-I-E. The Twitter handle is and that's, again, K-A-T-B-I-G-G-I-E. And, of course, Facebook, both a personal page, and just so you know, to find her with her name, it's Alexa, and it's B-I-G-W-A-R-F-E. Again, one more time, Alexa, I meant every word that I said, and I truly, truly am blessed that you came on the show today and took your time, and I wish you nothing but the best, and I'm always going to be here to support you. Again, thanks once more to Jennifer DeMarchi, even though I haven't been able to personally tell her. Thanks so much for making such a difference in our lives. Without you, we would not have this group. Without this group, we wouldn't have these kinships and friendships. So thank you for setting this up. One more reminder, tomorrow we are going to be having on the show noon Central Standard Time, which is Dr. Jeff Rappaport. He happens to be a New Jersey dermatologist with a new procedure, a non-surgical procedure as it relates to dermatology patients. Tune in tomorrow. Thanks, Valerie, for the tap-in. Thanks to everybody who's listening in today. One more reminder, Marcel Goyton down at Bar 360 in the casino this evening. Not sure of the time, but you can find him online, Marcel Goyton, G-Y-T-O-N. Take a look. Find him on there. Guys, have a wonderful evening. Again, thanks so much for supporting my endeavors and listening to my program. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Have a great evening.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.